Hey guys, let me ask you a question. Do you ever wonder where your money's actually going? Hey, watch me find hundreds of dollars in this budget that they don't even know they had. So help me cut $12,000 from this family's budget. Now they're spending more to watch Netflix than they are saving for their kids' college. That's pretty crazy. So, hey guys, welcome back to the Money Back Budget Planner, your journey with James. Today, we're diving into another real life money drama, and trust me, this is a good one as well. Now we're going to open up a budget together and see exactly where their money's going and how we can free up cash to hit their goal. So grab a pen because you might spot a few leaks in your own budget. So let's jump in. Okay, so here's the situation. They want to save about $12,000 for the year. All right, so $12,000 to hopefully go towards their kids' college. So if we divide that by 12 months, we're looking at a goal to save is $1,000 for the month. Okay, so with that being said, let's move forward. Okay, so now their income, the income that they have is pretty decent. They make altogether combined is $8,060 per month. Okay, that's really good. Not too bad. A lot of people make more, some make less. Doesn't matter, but it's what you do with it that counts. Okay, so now we're going to move on. Now that we have the income, let's work with the expenses. We have two columns of the expenses. One is the fixed expenses. The other is the variable expenses, and we'll tap into both of those. Now we're going to start off with the fixed expenses. Now, like most people probably know what their rent is, I would hope. But anyway, they start with their rent is $1,850. All right, that number looks kind of crazy there, but let me make that a little better for you. It's $1,850. All right. Okay, so now the utilities, the rents are really good. It's under 40%, well under 40%. So that's where you want to be, under 40%. And if you're above that, you're probably in a situation that you don't want to be in. All right, so utilities, they're spending $350. All right, I got to get used to this stylus here. Okay, so that's under 10%, which is, 10% is the max that it should be against your income that you have here. All right, so next is the cars. The car loans, they're spending about $750, it looks like. Okay, $750. All right, and that's not too bad. It's probably one car, and maybe they have a second car that's paid off already. Now, now with the car, of course, you got to have insurance. Their insurance is $280. So combined with the car payment and the car insurance, they're looking at maybe $1,030 altogether. So they're about maybe 15 or so percent roughly of their income, and you want to stay under 30% when it comes to car expenses like that. That's not counting gas, of course. So that's really good so far. Everything's so good for them. Now the next category is the insurance. Now with the insurance, I'm going to lump the car insurance that I just mentioned, the $280, along with the health insurance, what they have of $400. So $280 and $400 is $680. So we have $680. All right, that's their total insurance that they spend, which is not bad. I mean, you can always shop around each and every year, at least once a year, and see if you can, get a better deal. Of course, makes sense. Okay, now for groceries, this is what they spend. They spend $950, guys. $950. That's not bad, but I guess maybe for a family of 4 or 5 or so, almost $250 a week. I guess that's reasonable for where where prices are right now. It's not too bad. Okay, for gasoline, they spend roughly $500. They probably have a short commute to and from work. Drop the kids off at grandma's or whatever the case may be. That's what they're doing. That's not bad. That's not bad. If they have one or hopefully 2 cars in that situation. All right. So next, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the other expenses. I'll save the savings for last. Now, the other expenses, this is where where the area where there's a lot of wiggle room. You can either go up or down. That's why they call it variable. And this is where you'll find most of that loose change, so to speak, in your budget. This is where you're going to find that money. All right, so they eat out. This is their restaurant tab that they have is $600. So that's a little high to me. I think that's eating out quite a bit. If you really combine the restaurant and the grocery bill together, you're looking at maybe about $1,500 or so, about $1,550. That's quite a bit to eat every single month for you and your family. It's a lot of money. So if you look at it that way, you'll realize that, hey, maybe I don't have to spend so much to eat out. Doesn't make sense. All right, next is clothing. Now they spend approximately $350. That's not too bad. $350 is not too bad at all, compared to what I've seen. And, but you could always cut back. You don't necessarily have to buy brand new clothes each and every single month. For kids, maybe so, but not so much for adults as much. So, okay, that's not too bad, but it could be cut down, definitely. Okay, next is the discretionary spending of entertainment. They're spending approximately, looks like $400, right? $400 there. All right, so $400, it's quite a bit if you really think about it, because think of it this way. These three here are discretionary spending. This is money that you don't have to spend, right? It's not like the fixed expenses. You have to spend this in order to maintain a lifestyle, right? Over here, this is extra. So if you combine, the $600 from the restaurant, the $350 from the clothing, and also the $400 for the entertainment, you're looking at $1,350. That's quite a bit of money. Altogether, it's $1,350. Oh boy. All right, $1,350. That's what that would cost. All right, so that's how much is going out of their pocket each and every month, and you can't really always know where it's all going. And maybe that the entertainment's, going to the movies, maybe going to the bowling alley, nightclub, or whatever, something along those lines. That's okay. It's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just the fact that, when you have priorities, you need to be working on those priorities. So let's move on. Okay, so subscriptions. They're spending $380, guys. $380 on subscriptions to watch TV, man. That's Netflix, the Disney Channel, or whatever else that's out there, Paramount Plus, and there's dozens of those things all over the place. You could spend all this money up. This is crazy. Almost $400. $400 just to watch TV. I don't know how many TVs they have, but I will say this, it's not necessary and it's not a priority. It shouldn't be a priority, especially if you're already spending, $400 on entertainment, clothing, and you have the restaurant fees, all these discretionary spending habits that you're having here. You got to be able to cut that back. Absolutely. So let's move on. Next is the gym. They're spending $200. Not too bad. $200 is not too bad, but you could do better. If you go to the national chains, those gyms that, have, cheap memberships, you're all doing the same thing. Most gyms have the same equipment, right? So let's be honest. You can go to some that it's $20 per person, or maybe there's a family deal or whatever. So if you go to those, you could shave off at least, I'd say 100 to, maybe 50 to $100 off of that 200 easily, no problem. The next is they spend on kids' activities. They spend $450. Now, I wouldn't cut back on this area here. Kids are important, obviously. And, with that, I would just make sure they have whatever programs they have, after school programs, daycare, park and rec activities. It could be crafts, sports, games, hobbies, classes, whatever it takes. You're investing in your children, which I would not cut back on at all. So that's something I would just leave as is. The next is, here's their biggest expense, I think, is $600 on credit cards. This is what they spend each and every single month. $600. That's crazy. That's totally crazy to me. You got to get rid of this high interest, credit cards in our lives, especially now in this economy as the interest rates are higher. That means that the credit cards companies, they can raise their interest rates that they have without knowledge to you. They don't have to reach out to you and notify you that that's already happening. It's been happening. And on top of that, just by looking at this number here, I don't know all the particulars on it, but out of the $600 that they're spending each and every month, I almost guarantee that they're maybe about $100 of that is going to their balance. So the rest of that, this $500 is going straight into the pockets of the credit card company. So that's their profit. So it's taking you longer to pay this off for that particular reason, especially in high interest environments that we're in right now. So I would highly recommend paying off the credit card as soon as possible. Now let's go back over here to the savings. Here's what they got, guys. Believe it or not, a big round goose egg. They got zero savings, zero short term, zero long term, a big fat zero. Unfortunately. So, here's the situation. This family's paying nearly $400 a month in subscription. That's almost $5,000, guys. $5,000 a year just for subscriptions. Think about that. Just to watch TV, or maybe some software that's on your laptop, but that you forgot you even been spending money on this because it's automatically paid. That's crazy. That does not make sense. You got to go through your bills or whatever to figure out what is going out and what's coming in and all that. So it just makes sense. Now, I would say this: to add in, the restaurants, the entertainment, the overpriced gym, you could nearly, save probably about $1,000, $1,000 a month easily on this. So here's what I would go. This is what I would do. I would take the restaurant amount of $600, right? And I'd probably cut it down to, and I'm being nice, to $200. And that way they can save $400 off the top, right? Just cut that down. You don't have to eat out that much. That's crazy. It doesn't make sense to do that. If this is your priority, it's up to you. No one else can do it for you. It's up to you completely. All right. So next, after that, I would also look at, let's say the entertainment. Let's take that entertainment out of there. You don't need all that because you already got subscriptions, right? So I would take that out for at least a period of time. So that's how I would work it. I would just cut it out altogether. And there's $400 extra saved, which you can do. All right, so now you had $800. Next, I would say, look at the subscriptions. That's crazy. You don't have to spend almost $400. So let's put that over here, right? And I would cut that down. I wouldn't completely take it out because you need some form of entertainment. So let's say no more than $100, right? So now you're saving $280, right? So all together, guys, you got $1,080 a month that you're saving, right? That's over $12,000, right? Over $12,000 easily saved. All right, so that's just my opinion on this. You take it for what it's worth. I would put this money towards the credit card debt. That's exactly what I do. Then I'd set some aside for the savings. And then you can actually have some saved up for a college fund. So no more Disney, no more Netflix for a while. Just chill for a while and just go ahead and pay your bills. So next up, I'll show you a family that's earning $12,000 a month, but they're broke because of their car payments. So this one here, you'll shake your head on this one. It's completely just crazy. Absolutely. So there you have it. They found the money hiding right in their budget. The truth is, it's never about how much money you make, but it's how you manage it. If you see the same results, if you want to see the same results in this, in your own life, start tracking your money with the Money Map Budget Planner. Just 15 minutes a day can change everything for you. You'll find the link in the description and pinned in the comments section below. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and even hit that notification button as well. And don't wait. Your money map starts today. God bless. See you next time.